As you can see, the Superstar is now wearing the National Heavyweight Championship belt.
You know, there's very, very few individuals, Gordon, that come out and tell people exactly what's going to happen. There's no petitions around that I know, or very, very few of them. And a lot of people get up and say, we're going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to attempt to do this. I told you, I told Tommy Rich, I told everybody in professional wrestling I was going to get my belt back. There seemed to be a little bit of controversy about the identity of this man was supposed to be me, and that I'm supposed to be him, and vice versa. He signed a sworn affidavit. You witnessed it, that he was not the Superstar. You could obviously see there were two different individuals. Tommy Rich, Bob Armstrong, Wrestling number 2, Steve, all these guys come out and they make all kind of accusations. They make all kind of statements, but it's always the same. They can't take defeat. They can't take the idea that they could be knocked off that pedestal up there and brought down to reality. There's only room up there for a few individuals. And I'm at the top right now. My good friend's at the top right now. And Tommy, you and all the crybabies, all the bellyachers and complainers, there's nothing you can do about it. The fact is this: I am the champion, and I asked the promotion. Not only do I want to wrestle on television, I want to have my good friend wrestle on television with me to show everybody that we don't need to cheat. We don't have to do underhanded tactics to win a match. I have never cheated in my life. I've told people what I'm going to do. I've tried to live by that, and I've been very, very successful. And I intend on remaining successful, whether it's in single matches or tag matches, whether it's here in Georgia, it's in California, it's in Canada, no matter where it is. I can listen to all these crybabies, Tommy Rich, Wrestling number 2, Big Red, Michael Hayes. Hey, they're good at crying. You know why? They've had a lot of practice. I don't cry because I make my own destiny.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. You'll see them in action now, then. The Superstar and the Super Destroyer in action in an Australian tag team match. And they're going up against Mike Jackson and Rick Ford. So here you have two men at about 270 pounds each, facing two men who go between 200 and 230 pounds, which would be in that light heavyweight division. Offsetting the size and weight will be the speed and versatility. It ought to be an outstanding match. Mike Jackson, the first one out, moving up against the Superstar, who is now the National Heavyweight Champion. And very quickly, the Superstar lashes out Mike Jackson. Retaliates, gets him with a beautiful flying dropkick, and it is the Superstar outside the ring. And Mike Jackson's about as explosive a wrestler as you'd ever want to find, right?
Absolutely. For his weight, pound for pound, he is tremendous. Of course, he's overweight here. Now, interesting, we have two people here with master's degree. Is that true? I think I learned that last week.
Yes, you have both the Superstar and Mike Jackson, both of them.
That is brawn and brain at the same time. Nice takedown. Trying to sit out there, but the overweight, oh, very good. Very good. I thought the weight was going to override that fellow.
Well, there's where the speed and the agility took over for Mike Jackson. He was able to slip away from that. The question is going to be, on a fresh start, both men I would consider, because of their varying degrees of capabilities, are equal. But as time wears on, that lactic acid starts burning off and all, just which man is going to show fatigue first?
Absolutely, yes. And one good thing that now interesting that wrestlers are starting to do is B15, a new vitamin that what it does is put more oxygen, allows your blood to contain more oxygen, giving you more stamina. And it's interesting because I know myself I'm taking it, and I know a lot of these other fellows are experimenting with it.
Side headlock now by Rick Thor, and the Super Destroyer picked him up, heaved him like a sack of beans, and it is Thor feeling the anger now as the Superstar tags up with Super Destroyer. One to the midsection now, one to the side of the jaw, puts Thor back to the canvas again. The referee, Scrappy McGowan, told him to count a snap there, has Thor back to the canvas. And so the Superstar has things rather well under control here with a rear chin lock.
Looked like a thumb to the throat there, to me a little bit. Our commentary said he never cheats. I'm not so sure that's true, but then again, that's smart, because after all, why tell them? He's in there to win. He needed that looked like a thumb to the throat to me. That is against the rules. He says he never cheats. I don't think he does.
Super Destroyer now maintaining some dominance here on Rick Thor. Thor catching an elbow that time, driven to the canvas. And Thor drives one to the midsection, one to the side of the jaw, another one. And Thor unhooks a couple of lefts and rights, now makes the tag. Mike Jackson moves in. And Jackson wasting no time whatsoever. An all-out frontal assault on Super Destroyer. Cut short, however, by 2 knees. One to the midsection, one high to the chest of Mike Jackson.
I wish I could coach these fellas. If they were giving up that much weight, if they would rapid tags, being lighter, probably their stamina is better. Rapid tags would wear these fellas down. Get one guy in there. Don't let him get to his corner. But remember, I can't be in the corner to coach him, unfortunately. Nice, powerful slam. Look at the strength of that superstar. Incredible. Oh, that neck breaker. Boy.
Hanger, neck breaker there, and he either did not allow the pin or Jackson was coming to his feet. One or the other was difficult to tell.
I don't think he would have got it.
Forearm to the small of the back, and Jackson now firing to the midsection, one to the top of the head. Lefts and rights to the body now, and it is Rick Thor moving in. Thor caught coming into the boot in the midsection, and knee lift to the chest area once again, now into a full body slam.
Lenny Thor, yeah, nice body slam. Superstar comes in, takes his time. Very nice double cross. Such a powerful man. That's 280 pounds coming at you.
Thor now. There again. He caught the line. That is driving about 40 miles an hour on horseback, catching it free. And now you've got the Super Destroyer in there. Bear hug into a slam. Variation of a lateral press and the count of 3 on Rick Thor.
Beautiful tag team combination there.
It'll be interesting to chat a little bit further with these gentlemen, the Super Destroyer and the Superstar. He said, of course, the Superstar is now the national heavyweight champion. And, well, gentlemen, if you were out to prove a point, I would say that you did it rather...
We don't have to prove points, Gordon. I just wanted to show you, illustrate to you, illustrate to Mr. Piper, who's watching all these, illustrate to Tommy Rich, Big Red, the other imposter walking around complaining about everybody, that's Hayes. And wrestling number 2, fellas, don't let me forget the new champions. The pride and joy of Marietta. I don't know who's the pride or who's the joy. Who's overjoyed about your victory? Armstrongs. If you want a tag team combination and you want to have a battle, all you got to do is sign a contract with this individual, Super Destroyer, and myself. Because, fellas, I am the current national champion. And we are looking to be the World Tag Team Champions. And we're going to get that opportunity. Hey, listen. Get out of here. Fat boy. You better keep your hand off me, man. Get out of here, fat boy.
Gentlemen, please, you know there's a fine...
double-breasted sheet he's got on.
Gentlemen.
Look out, God, let me tell you something. The way y'all took that back from Tommy Rich was deplorable. And ain't nobody gonna come in Atlanta, Georgia and do nothing like that while Big Red around. I'm telling you, and you do.
Red, if you don't want us to do it when you're around, maybe you just better get out of town. Because we're going to stay.
Get out of town and get out of phone here.
You don't have to listen to this, Joe. You should come out here with a sheet wrapped around you and telling me what I'm going to do.
Get out of here. Go and get that Halloween party on out of those days and stuff. Look here, I was at the and I saw how that belt was switched. Ain't no way in the world that man could pin Tommy Rich that way. One came in while the others around. Now they talking about they need a partner or some kind of team or something. Well, what you know, Big Red is here. All I need to do is get me a man, baby. You know?
I realize there was a lot of talk about it. Unfortunately, there is no proof, and that's our problem.
There's no proof, Bob. And you know something? I would like to know how they look like. You know, I might just try to go on and get them matches off them folks. Tell you, I'm telling you. So on the 13th, watch out.
Well, okay, fair enough. A situation with the Super Destroyer and Superstar. And there you have some interesting comments and challenges from Big Red himself. We'll be back in just a moment. The Big O going up against Big Joe Turner, a single match, and Big O wasting no time. Unloads on Turner. And so, certainly, things are cast here in a hurry, if you will. And Turner hurtled through those ring ropes onto the apron and staying outside.
both men about the same weight. Big O just came back from a tour of Puerto Rico. He did extremely well out here. Nice color, too. No, not a three. But then again, you got your brawny fella that's not afraid of anything, Big O. Hey, you've got your tough man that's a barroom brawler type. What a solid blow to you. A little different than my philosophy.
Turner having his problems now coming off the ropes, and Big O catches him once again. Turner back to the canvas now. Big O, of course, in the red trunks. It's Turner in the blue, and Turner driven back to the canvas again. And so the Big O has totally dominated the situation thus far in the match, and that's rather surprising, except I think that Turner came out there probably with a different bit of strategy in mind, perhaps a thought to lock up collar and elbow, check his man out, and he suddenly found out that Big O wasn't having any of that. It was a strictly all-out frontal assault.
Yeah, Big O went for the attack immediately, trying to, first of all, if you can get the push, in a wrestling match, Mr. Sorg, of course, I'm explaining it for the folks there that don't, but for the wrestling match, the man who gets the first hold, the man who makes the first successful move, definitely has a psychological advantage. Immediately he has that just that edge, and that's just what Big O went out there and did. Now, he might have this man confused a bit, which is kind of in the science, which I'm talking about. We're talking about vitamins. We're talking about wrestling as a science of thinking, which is very good on Big O's part.
Again, Big Joe Turner hurtled through those ring ropes onto the ring apron and down to the concrete floor outside, and the Big O, watching his man, conserving his energy, watching him carefully, catches him coming back into the ring, catches him off the... Wow! And he does. He measures his man before he takes him.
Yeah, he's a tough man, this Big O, for sure. He can hit hard. Of course, he couldn't do that to me because I would be fighting him a little different than this man. This man's trying to go toe-to-toe, stand up, eyeball to eyeball, nose to nose, and that's not the way to do it. But I'll talk to him later and fill him in just on how to fight big people like that. Oh, picked him up there. Big O.
Did not allow the pin. Now, he had ample opportunity, it appeared to me, for a pinning combination, and Big Joe Turner coming up rather slowly, dropped to the canvas again by the Big O, and so the Big O has now got an added psychological edge on his man. Clamps down with a front chancery now on Big Joe Turner, and so he is obviously there to punish as well as to pin.
Absolutely, and of course, Mr. Sorg, I know it is such a pleasure to be here with you, being such a good commentator of wrestling. It is, and you know exactly what these men are doing. When he's doing that to his opponent, when he's punishing, he knows other wrestlers are watching him now on the monitor, and he's trying to scare them, and you know that, and it's a smart tactic. I would do it myself, so it must be smart.
It's showing absolutely no compunction at all about adding additional punishment. And finally scores the count of 3, and it is all over for Big Joe Turner. And I want to take a moment right now to talk to Mr. Austin Idol.
Well, I'm sure you probably think right now, but I'm not here to talk about how pretty I am, or how rich I am, or how sexy I am, or how mean I am. But the reason I'm out here, and I'll tell you right now, is that I think that it bears repeating about all the complaining that's being done around here. I've never seen anything so disgusting in my life. All the whining, all the moaning, all the groaning, and like the superstar said, all the crybabies. You can see, look at my head right here, there's gas opening in the Omni. I'm not crying about it, but look at Michael Hayes. He's crying about the defeat he suffered at the hands of us now. Look at wrestling too, he's crying. And look at Tommy Rich. He's crying on everybody's shoulder. And now I heard about Leroy Brown is coming to town. He's a troubleshooter. I'm going to tell you something right now, Leroy Brown. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how bad you are. If you stick your nose in my business, I'll cut you down the side so quick. As a matter of fact, where is Leroy Brown? Where is right now, Brown, don't you ever stick your nose in my... Let me tell you something, brother. Put my phone. I'm going to tell you something right now, Brown. And don't do elbow. Put your hands on me.
Yeah, Idol's saying listen to me, but he's backing up, and bad Leroy Brown is here and now.
Hey, let me tell you something. They call me and they told me
what's been happening solely. And let me tell you something. From now on, it won't happen as long as the bad is around. Only Anderson. It don't make no difference who it is. You talk about the Super Destroyer and his partner, the Masked Man, switching and going on. Well, I'm the only one. I am the policeman, and I will control everything from here on in. I done talked enough. They didn't bring me down here to talk a lot. They brought me down here for action, brother, and that's all I'm about. Action, get ready.
Yeah, I might just add, that's his middle name, Action. Bad. Leroy Brown from the south side of Chicago. We'll be back. Brad Armstrong battling his way out. Makes the tag with Bob Armstrong. Bob Armstrong explodes on Duggan. Bob Armstrong catches Senfield coming in. Caught from behind by Duggan. Now we've got all 4 men in the ring at the same time.
We got a Donnie's up. Whoa! That man went right over the top rope there. Isn't that a disqualification?
Well, you would be the first. He's got the pinfall. I think you'd be the first one to say, Rod, unless the referee saw it upcoming. Also, a situation between the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and the Great Kabuki. We'll be going into that in some detail. And a quick reminder telling you, of course, that the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Les Thornton will be seen here on Georgia Championship Wrestling in the very near future. Lots of great things upcoming, so let's not waste any time. Let's go to our ring announcer, Freddie Miller.
With a 10-minute time limit, 1 fall 10 from St. Petersburg, Florida, at 215 pounds, here's Tom Rogers. Tom Rogers. His opponent from Las Vegas, Nevada, at 241 pounds, the Universal Heartthrob, Austin Idol. The referee is Nick Patrick.
All right, Austin Idol moving out against Tom Rogers. Rogers out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Idol now making a home in Vegas. And, of course, uses the Vegas leg lock, which has been, it's a Vegas, it's a variation of a figure 4 leg lock is what it is, actually, Rod. I know you're familiar in watching the man apply that. He applies it very successfully.
Yes, and I wonder, it's going to be interesting to see if he uses it on this young man here. Now, if I was this man, I would already have a counter to it and be watching for it and be trying to set him up so he tries to use it so I can use the counter. It'll be interesting to see his taking his rub off. A little psyching out there. Very good, Austin.
Idol, of course, a magnificent physical specimen. But he's facing a slightly smaller edition of himself because Rogers certainly is in outstanding physical condition. The abdominal erectile muscles, the biceps, the triceps, the pectoralis. And Rogers catching Austin Idol from behind, a quick lateral press after a drop kick. Idol powered out, however, and Rogers after him very quickly, and so Rogers using the element of surprise. And thus far has Idol in trouble, and Idol utilizing the ring ropes to force the break.
Very smart on Austin's part. Austin there caught himself caught. This young man, now you talk about some tremendous athletes. Very smart on his part. What he did is he got on the ropes and got the man to break and got him away so he can get his composure again. Good throw.
Collar and elbow, and it's Rogers now with a side headlock on Austin Idol. And it is Idol now trapped in that side headlock, so he has found himself against a very strong opponent. Idol, I think, had to come into that ring perhaps a bit overconfident. Atomic knee drop has Rogers stunned here momentarily.
Now, that's something that can happen to you. See, when you find out who you're fighting, and you say to yourself, I can beat him either. You go in there not thinking, well, this young man probably has been psyching himself up for 2 days to fight Austin Idol, because after all, Austin Idol is a big name in wrestling. It would be a credit to this young man. And I think he did go in just a little overconfident. But you notice he's managed to gain his composure here because he's got full control of what's going on.
Rogers hurtled through those ring ropes, and he's in trouble outside on the concrete. And Rogers has had some steam taken out of him. A little wind out of the sails, if you will, and now Idol brings him back into the ring.
That shows you the power in Austin Idol there. Whoa. Backbreaker. Very well executed. High in the air, coming right down on the knee, trying to get the point of the knee. Bone to ribs is what you're looking for. You don't want the thigh part. You don't want the muscle. You want bone to bone. That's how you hurt him, and it's obvious it's not the wind of this young man.
Has indeed caught him in the lower section of the rib cage, and Rogers coming in very slowly. Dropped into the ropes that time and through the ropes as Rogers lost control of himself here totally. And it is Idol continuing to pummel and punish Tom Rogers.
Yeah, it shows you here now two fine athletes, but where weight can sometimes be to the advantage, and Austin is using it extremely well. Going for the suplex. Got him up.
Vertical suplex on Tom Rogers, and Austin Idol has a very stunned, very shaken Tom Rogers on the canvas. He's in the black trunks and in a lot of trouble now as he's trying to regroup his body and bring himself back into total consciousness, rolling against the legs and feet of Austin Idol in pain as Idol brings him up. Scoops him once again for a slam, caught him into that top rope.
Vicious move now. This man's being vicious here. He's got this boy hurt. He knows he's hurt, and he's continuing to do punishing moves. Now, dropping him across his throat across the rope there. That's something that can hurt him permanently. Slamming him. Look at that. There we go. He's taking advantage of the foul. But I understand because he's got a point to prove. Don't fool with Austin Idol is what he's saying right now to every other wrestler in the world.
Driving the knee into the... Indeed, instead it's set you. That's an interesting point. All right, he has hooked the head, hooked the leg, and scores the 1, 2, 3. So Austin Idol, once again, and we may get a chance to take a look at Austin Idol just to show you the kind of power he does have. He's there on the second rope. That is within the legal parameters. Drives off, drives that knee directly into the chest, into the sternum area, actually. Catches Tom Rogers. That continues to force the air out of his system. Notice the way he comes in, hooks the arm and the leg simultaneously, bringing that body around. And you'll notice even though his body was writhing and partially in the air, the shoulders were still flat to the canvas. And there you have to give certainly credit to Austin Idol for quite a victory indeed. December 13th. Mark that down on your calendars right now. And may I just suggest right now, National Tag Team Championship. So let's go to ringside now with Rod Piper as he interviews the new National Tag Team Champions.
Well, of course, it's a pleasure, and I'd like to congratulate you two gentlemen on winning the National Tag Team Champion. You were the underdogs going into it, and for a second, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to speak with Brad, being that you're the younger and more inexperienced of the two. It must have been tough for you in there to watch your father in his match and to fight like you did, and it must have been great conditioning you went through in this particular contest.
Well, yes, sir, Mr. Piper. You know, it was probably one of the toughest tournaments, the toughest that I've ever been in my life. And like you said, watching Dad get hurt or watching me get down a little bit, we've got a pact, kind of an agreement between each other that we let each other do his own thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Let each other do his own thing. That's interesting. Very good. Very good. And I like a little about the social life. You must, with all the conditioning you've been doing, it must be tough for you. Have you been dating any young ladies or a little about the personal life?
Well, Mr. Piper, you know, if it's one thing I like better than wrestling, and that's these pretty Georgia peaches here. And I try to squeeze some time in for them, you know, as for myself. And
but how do you feel about kind of being in the shadow of your dad, like kind of like, you don't feel like a daddy's boy at all? Do you kind of being in the shadow of your dad and having your dad being an accomplished wrestler, do you feel a little, you know, kind of, you want your own kind of identity? Do you feel that at all? Do you feel that people are down on you at all because after all, your dad is Mr. Armstrong and you're kind of Brad Jr. and that event and you're in there, and after all, you're younger and a little bit less experienced? Just a second.
Why don't you talk to me for a while? You talk to Brad, and after you want to interview me, ask me some questions, I'll be glad to answer you.
Well, it'll be my pleasure. Matter of fact, you were next, Mr. Armstrong, and the fact that you won the title is quite an accomplishment, and you were the underdogs. You're one of the lightest teams going in there, and I didn't really believe that you would have won it, but it is a credit to you. And as far as the conditioning goes, and as far as your son is concerned...
well, if you'll let me say just one word, I perfectly agree with you. We were underdogs. Nobody really took us that seriously because we were the lightest team, and that might be one reason that we won the tournament, that we did come out on top.
You mean like it was lucky that you won the tournament? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that we weren't a little lucky. I'm just saying that things went our way, and we did win the tournament, and we're very proud to be champions.
Well, that's very good. And imagine the condition. I noticed the legs and the body looking at you. You must have done, with skinny legs like that, you must have done a lot of running and conditioning. I'm not knocking it at all. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying you must have ran a lot and worked hard at it. I can understand that.
Yeah, let me say this about my trim legs. I've always believed in Greco-Roman wrestling. I use the upper body. And I'd like to ask you one question.
Certainly.
Have you ever seen a racehorse with fat legs?
A racehorse with fat legs?
I don't believe you've ever seen a racehorse with fat legs. because we're Southern-born, Southern-bred thoroughbreds. That's the way we feel about it. Feel the way you like. Thank you for your interview.
A thoroughbred with flat legs. Well, it's certainly been a pleasure, Mr. Armstrong, and if you're ever in a horse race, I'm sure you'll win.
Well, all right. The comments and an interesting interview. Rod Piper interviewing the new National Tag Team Champions, and, well, quite obviously there that, well, we can go on to other things. We're going to be watching, yeah, you hear it. Yeah, that's it. Hear that music, you know one thing. And the policeman himself, from the south side of Chicago, moving into the ring at this time. Bad Leroy Brown. He's going up against a very, very tough man in Big Joe Turner. Leroy Brown outside the ring, shaking hands with a host of fans. He has struck the hearts of all of these fans almost immediately. And wearing that hard hat, moving in with those bib overalls, going up against Big Joe Turner, waiting for the bell to ring. Referee, of course, Nick Patrick, and he calls for the bell. There it is. Bad Leroy Brown. Big Joe Turner, equal height almost, and almost equal weight. So it should be quite a contest. And woo! And Bad Leroy Brown proving his point very, very quickly. Clubbing right hand to the side of the head that puts Turner to the canvas. And a headbutt. Turner's down once again.
Here's a man here that has come from nothing and made himself a name. What a 320 pounds. Look at how agile he moves. Now, this is an impressive man here. You see, notice, you got another man that he's fighting there. Got to be 260. The man, look at those punches. They mean nothing against Leroy Brown. Very strong, look at that. Because says he comes from the ghetto in Chicago and he doesn't know how to wrestle, he says, but he knows how to fight. Well, I must admit that. He's not afraid to gouge some eyes. Not afraid to get in there and get it done.
Big full body slam by Bad Leroy Brown has Big Joe Turner back to the canvas once again. And it is Turner coming up and Leroy Brown giving him a helping hand because he wants him on his feet. Brought him with an elbow coming off the ropes. And Bad Leroy Brown telling him, wow! 320 pounds crashing into the chest cavity of Big Joe Turner. It is all over. And your victor from the south side of Chicago, Bad Leroy Brown. Seeing it again here in slow motion, and there you see Bad Leroy Brown, 320 pounds crashing down across the chest of Big Joe Turner, and so a most impressive victory for Bad Leroy Brown, making his first appearance here on Georgia Championship Wrestling, and we'll be back moment right now to talk to the superstar who is now the national heavyweight champion and the Super Destroyer. And, of course, gentlemen, still a lot of controversy surrounding...
There's always controversy where I'm involved, and now with this gentleman's involved. I hear Tommy Ritchie's crying and complaining, and they got Big Red out here supposed to fabricate and develop some unknown proof and show it to all these individuals. They got the big goof from Chicago out there, the policeman. All these guys get on and they say what they're going to do, but there's only one man here that can ever go out and say he's going to do something and do it. I was supposed to wrestle here today, but I'm not going to wrestle. If you want to see me, or these people want to see me, they're going to have to pay to see the champion wrestle.
Gordon, I'm here today, and I'm going to wrestle today because I have something to show these people out here. Being associated with the mass superstar is fine and everything, but the people out here today are going to see the Super Destroyer as himself right now.
Well, fair enough. Let's watch the Super D then as he moves into the ring. He'll be going up against Rick Benfield. And this is one fall, a 10-minute time limit, waiting now for the bell. There's the bell. Benfield in the blue trunks, Super Destroyer, of course, with the black trunks and the red mask with the stars on it. Beginning to see now why there was that great talk of debate whether or not Super Destroyer was the superstar. If you'll notice the similarity in the trunks with the stars down the left leg, the stars on the mask. Benfield now with a good hammerlock on Super Destroyer. Up into those ring ropes, and the referee calls for the break, and Super Destroyer in a good clean break steps back into the center of the ring, collar and elbow. Super Destroyer pulling Benfield back into the ring ropes.
what a big, impressive man the Super Destroyer is, and what a tag team they make, because they have brawn and brain, like we discussed before. Superstar and the Super Destroyer are both people who have gone to college, are both people who can bench press over 450, are both people who can think and fight at the same time. Makes them a deadly tag team combination. Of course, the Superstar himself, being champion, speaks for himself, doesn't he?
It does indeed, and Super Destroyer taking Benfield back in a bear hug up into the turnbuckle, crushing more air out of him. Now a boot to the side of the rib cage that again forces more air out of the life support system along Rick Benfield. Benfield now doubled up, having a lot of trouble, a lot of reddening of the upper body here as he has taken those percussions to the side and to the back.
Some people, sometimes people wonder now, why would he put his throat on the rope and choke him? Now, what he's done here is he's kicked him in the ribs. Now, you notice, first of all, he kicked him high, bone to bone is what important. And when he took the wind out of him, the next thing he did is kept the wind out of him by taking him to the rope, because he knows he's got that 4 count. Now, look at what he does. What is he doing? He's limiting the lungs to air, right? That's the best way to exhaust a man. Don't let him breathe. Very good.
Benfield trying desperately to break his way out of this now. The Super Destroyer drives a knee lift into the midsection once again, continuing to deprive Benfield of that much-needed oxygen. And, of course, as the oxygen supply is depleted to the brain, the mind begins to function a little more slowly, and obviously if it functions more slowly, then the muscles are going to respond a lot slower.
Mr. Sully, very good. You notice how intensely the Superstar is watching right now. You notice how every move he's making, that's what makes them such a fine combination here, is they're watching each other all the time, so they learn each other, they know each other just like it was themselves, and that's what's important in tag team combinations, and important just when you got someone watching your back.
Referee checking with Benefield, but Benefield, a gritty competitor, hanging on. And he keeps the full bear hug on him now.
Strong
Benefield is in a lot of trouble.
Now he's got, notice the difference now in the hand situation. So much little technique. Now he's got the knuckles against the spine, pushing on the lungs. Before he just had meat against meat. You don't want that. You want bone against bone is what you want. That's what wins wrestling matches.
Benefield beginning to sag, and he is having a lot of trouble trying to get that much-needed oxygen. His muscles now failing to respond on his own development of the match here, and consequently now the Super Destroyer driving him back toward the mat. Benefield finally driven to the mat. Benefield able to get a shoulder off before the count, however, keeps that shoulder off. Super Destroyer presses his advantage more, but now Benefield able to get that shoulder off. Super Destroyer down across the chest and the throat of Benefield. Moved off before the count. Moved off before the count of 3, and again back into the bear hug.
Very good. You see, concentrating on the same part of the body. Once you got something hurt, you stay with it. That's what makes me so good, is that I can stay with the same part, and I know to stay with the same part. And that's just what he's doing there. Notice again the knuckles, how he's got knuckles again. He realized himself. Am I going too much depth here, Mr. Soley?
No, I think you're doing very well.
Thank you very much. I know, you see, if the people can just spot the little bit of technique that's involved in professional wrestling, the little thing that he's doing right now is so important, it makes all the difference in the world. Superstar, of course, knows that. It makes him a champion. First 280 pounds helps too, doesn't it, Mr. Solly?
Well, it does, along with the consummate skill that he has. And it is Super Destroyer continuing to move against Benefield, and Benefield now, that upper body is totally reddened.
Absolutely. You can even see in his face, and he's not even cutting any blood off of the face, but you can just see from the pressure. It's such a smart wrestler. Such good tactics here are involved that the people could just appreciate what he's doing. And it's hard work and hard labor to get this done.
Super D asking Benfield to concede, but Benfield, as gritty a competitor as I've seen in a long time, he is not conceding, continues to press home, and of course, outside of camera range, the Superstar continues to look on, obviously with a great deal of interest. He and the Super Destroyer have formed a pact, or an allegiance, if you will, a series of headbutts now by the Super Destroyer. And Benfield has just taken it. Put on the ropes. Calls for the break.
Lucky, yes. What intensity the Superstar is watching, too. You can see he's into every move. Right back to the same. Very good, very scientific. But you got to give this man credit. I don't believe it. I would have thought he would have given up a long time ago. He's still fighting back, although the blows don't have much power behind him.
Drove the knee to the midsection, and it is Benfield in a lot of trouble here. No, sir, up on that top rope. And I've heard about this. And I've heard about this with the Super Destroyer, the Superplex coming off that second rope. It is all over. All over for young Rick Benfield. And the Super Destroyer coming outside the ring in a quick conversation with the Superstar. And, well, now, wait a minute. Why is the Super Destroyer going back in? The referee's still attending to Benfield. Super Destroyer now. And the referee warning Super Destroyer he could reverse this situation. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Bad Leroy Brown just hit the ring. And suddenly the Super Destroyer and the Superstar decided to leave. And I can certainly understand why.
Hey, Sola, I told you the policeman was here. The bad from Chicago. And the thing like this going to end. It's going to end not next week, not next month. But right now, I've had enough of Peter had enough. And the big man. When he says it's going to happen, baby, it's going to happen.
There you have it. Bad Leroy Brown.
What castle of creepy duck?
All right, there we have it now. Final match on this hour of Georgia Championship Wrestling. One fall with television time remaining. An Australian tag team match. El Grande Apollo and Rick Thor, and it's El Grande Apollo giving Rick Stevens what for into a hip lock takedown. Stevens very quickly into a head scissors. Apollo powers out. It's Ray Stevens and Ole Anderson against El Grande Apollo and Rick Thor. The tag is made. Rod Piper to my left and Buzz Sawyer to my right. So I'm surrounded here by about $2 million worth of great wrestling talent.
Look at that wrestling Ole Anderson's doing. Everybody's talking about how mean and bad he is. Sure, he's mean and bad, but look at that wrestling. Look at that wrestling. Doesn't that look good? Really interesting. Look at Apollo hitting him with the fist. That's not right. That's not right.
I think Mr. Apollo was probably retaliating back in time, Mr. Sawyer, and I hesitate to take issue with you on that, but Apollo will do what is necessary. Ray Stevens moved in. That appeared to be a fist to the midsection into a top wrist lock.
No, I wasn't a fist. I didn't see that one.
Convenient eyesight on the part of Buzz Sawyer, and it is Rick Thor having his problems now as wow, beautiful suplex. Had him the double underhook. And Mr. Piper, now Ole Anderson moves out.
Yes, you notice tremendous teamwork. Stevens did not let go of the legs until Anderson had control. That's what makes tag team combinations.
Anderson now caught by Thor, but Anderson very quickly with a superior weight and strength pulls Thor back into his own corner.
As soon as he gets in trouble, what does he do? He tags. That's what these people must learn. It's called tag team. That means you tag.
That looks rather good right there, sticking his foot in his throat. That's where his foot belongs, right in his throat.
Mr. Piper made the comment that Mr. Anderson was in trouble. I would imagine Anderson would take umbrage to that. I don't think he feels he's ever in trouble.
Well, when I say trouble, I mean that he's at a disadvantage at that particular time. He wasn't hurt, but, or rather, should I say, before he got into trouble, would maybe be a better parallel there. He immediately tagged.
An excellent retraction, and it is Anderson leaving the flat of the foot up as Thor was driven into the foot. Ray Stevens tags out, and it is Anderson back into the ring. Thor off the rope, caught him coming right off the ropes with the back of the elbow and makes the tag with Stevens, keeps him tied up.
Yeah, that's right. Stick that foot in his face. Put a little pain on that man. Come on, Ray Stevens.
The comments of Buzz Sawyer. Stevens has him up for the pile driver, and that could well be all she wrote. A count of three. The Anderson brothers coming out victorious over the combination of El Grande Apollo and Rick Thor. The fall, of course, taken on Rick Thor. El Grande Apollo out there now offering what help he can to him. And the Andersons now, I'd like to call, if you'll excuse me, Buzz, I'd like to call Ole Anderson over to chat with him and Ray Stevens for just a moment because an outstanding match.
You get a couple of world champions together. Former world tag champion here. Former world tag champion Anderson. What a combination. It could be Anderson, it could be Anderson, it could be Stevens. Anytime you're in the ring and you see a couple of guys like this wrestling, you know you're seeing the greatest of wrestling. Am I right, Ray?
That's right. It's a privilege to wrestle with a man like Ole Anderson. With the reputation he's got, speaks for itself. And you know what? I think we can capture any championship there is, Ole.
No question about it. You know, here, all these people down here know that in this area, it's the greatest wrestling around the world. When you're in the South, you're in the best wrestling in the world. Whether it's the Carolinas or Georgia or Florida, this is where the great wrestling is at. And this is where the great wrestlers are. And you're looking at two of the greatest wrestlers right here.
Ole Anderson and Ray Stevens, my thanks, of course, to the comments from both month have both been injured. I have asked Brian St. John and Steve-O to join me here at the desk. Steve-O has selected Brad Armstrong as his replacement, and Brian St. John has asked for Charles Fulton to replace him. But I'm going to ask Steve-O and Brian St. John both to come out here and draw the lucky names. Brian, let's see, yours will be on this side. And Steve, you're on this side. I think before we even talk, gentlemen, if each of you will reach in and pick out the which you hope will be the winning name. Okay. Brian Fields, Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is Randy Garrison of Baltimore, Maryland, are the two names. Steve-O for Randy Garrison and Brian Fields for Brian St. John. And now let me ask you, Steve, of course you're still sidelined.
Well, yes, I am, Gordon. I've started a long regimen of physical therapy, and I'm trying to get my hand work back into shape. You know, it's one thing when professional athletes cannot participate in their sport to go out there. You know, I wanted to participate in this match so very much because the people obviously voted. You know, the vote was very, very nice for them to vote for me, and obviously I would very much like to be in there and to wrestle. But injuries do happen. I'm sure Brian will concur with me on that. And then this sport is very dangerous. But I tell you, the competition spirit still burns inside me, and I will return.
Well, we're looking forward to an early return by Steve-O, but as you can see, of course, with the injury to the wrist and then the staph infection, he's still sidelined. And Brian St. John aggravating an injury to the left ankle.
Well, the first thing I want to do is apologize to all my fans that wrote in my name. For me to be the projected winner of this match, and for the people that wrote my name down, hoping to gain something out of my misfortune of losing a match, well, it just, you know, you can't profit from the misfortunes of others. I just like to say that.
Fair enough. And, gentlemen, we do have the two names. Thank you both very much. I know they're going to wish, of course, the very best to the two competitors, Brad Armstrong taking the place of Steve-O and Charlie Fulton taking the place of Brian St. John for the Stanley Works match. The winner, of course, if Brad should win it, then the young man from Baltimore will be winning the Stanley Works garage door opener. Second place, the second place winner will pick up a Stanley Works toolkit. So both of these two fellows who we've mentioned here, the names have been drawn, are both winners. There's no question about that. I've got two fine athletes with me right now, and we'll see them at ringside as they cheer their respective replacements on during the Stanley Works match coming up right after these words. All right, a very important match underway here, the Stanley Works bout of the month, and it's Charlie Fulton charging up there very quickly. Use that knee now. Brad Armstrong ducks under a outflung arm, and Brad Armstrong brings him up a full body slam into an arm drag takedown. Brad Armstrong moving exceptionally fast now against Fulton. Brian St. John and Charlie Fulton, friends of long standing. Beautiful rolling reverse by Fulton. Has Brad Armstrong. No, sir, he got out of it. He got away from it. Inside cradle by Fulton. Beautiful counter. As Armstrong started to go for a slam, it was Fulton countering. Puts him into an inside cradle. Brad Armstrong gets away from a cross body block. And again, it's Fulton breaking free. Great intensity here. Both teams, both men rather. I say teams only because Brian St. John in the corner of Charlie Fulton, Steve-O in the corner of Brad Armstrong, and both of these men, of course, out of the competition. So those of you who voted for Steve O, you have Brad Armstrong. For those of you who voted for Brian St. John, you have Charlie Fulton. And thus far, an exceptionally even match. Fulton, short chopping right hand to the jaw. Brad Armstrong reverses an arm whip here. High backdrop. Arm drag takedown, and Brad Armstrong holds a momentary advantage position on Charlie Fulton. There you see Steve O watching very carefully. And Steve O with an extremely bad staph infection as a result of a sprained wrist. And these are one of those strange twists of fate. Brian St. John aggravating an ankle injury. Brad Armstrong in trouble, down on one knee. Low body slam by Charlie Fulton. Brad Armstrong powers out before the count of 3. And Charlie Fulton. A rear chin lock now on Brad Armstrong. So Brian Fields of Las Vegas looking good at the moment here as Charlie Fulton keeps that rear chin lock on Brad Armstrong. Referee Scrappy McGowan checking both men very carefully. Armstrong that time finally broke it up. But that chin lock in this match is beginning to take its toll. Brad Armstrong coming up rather slowly, caught in the back of the head by Charlie Fulton. Rear chin lock. And that rear chin knock's now beginning to really take its toll on Brad Armstrong. And Fulton may be coming slightly across that carotid artery. He might be putting some pressure on that artery. And that could be causing excessive fatigue and partial unconsciousness. Armstrong trying to regain his feet now. Armstrong. Good second effort here. Armstrong coming back to his feet. Charlie Fulton. And it's Armstrong driving an elbow to the midsection. Another elbow into the side of the ribcage of Charlie Fulton. Another one, and Fulton finally is forced to relinquish that hold. And now Armstrong explodes to the midsection with a hard right hand. Another hard right hand, and now a forearm to the side of the head of Charlie Fulton, and Fulton is down. Beautiful flying drop kick. Armstrong in with a lateral press. Fulton breaks it up, caught him with a headbutt. And that was right on the belt line of the abdomen. Armstrong through the midsection. Armstrong fires again. Fulton one to the side of the head. Armstrong becoming a headhunter, going after a series of lefts and rights to the side of the jaw into a lateral press. Once again, hooks the far leg again. Charlie Fulton powers out. Double underhook. Beautiful move by Armstrong. Brad Armstrong trying to set him if he can, and it is Fulton. Count of 3. Got him with a beautiful backslide. Beautiful backslide. Well-executed backslide by all right, we're going to have let me see if I can't get Brad Armstrong and Steve O back over here for just a moment. A fine victory. So Steve O well represented by Brad Armstrong. And As I said earlier, of course, we do have the combination of Kevin Sullivan and Wayne Ferris, a newly formed tag team combination for here in Atlanta. However, you two have been tag team partners before.
We've been tag team partners before, Gordon, and let me tell you something. We came here Thanksgiving with all good intentions of being the national champions. But what happened? It was the worst fragrant rules I've ever seen. The wrong man got pinned. The Armstrongs, Bob Armstrong and his clone, that's what it is, it's a clone, beat us. And I don't mean beat us, they stole that from us. So it doesn't matter to us if it's Chattanooga, any place in this country. We want the Armstrongs because we deserve to be the national tag team champions. And right now we'll go in the ring and show you why we should be.
All right, fair enough. Wayne Ferris and Kevin Sullivan going up against Mike Jackson and Big Joe Turner in this event. An Australian tag team match. Wayne Ferris, of course, not to be confused with the Anchorman in Miami. The Anchorman in Miami, Wayne Ferris, a young fellow who had much to do with my early career in broadcasting. And it's Jackson up and over. Ferris and caught him with a beautiful shoulder smash. Dropped him in. Jackson catches him again. And Kevin Sullivan moves in against Mike Jackson. And so Jackson very quickly caught in the midsection by Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan just about doubled up. And he very quickly trying to settle the issue with Mike Jackson. Now Wayne Ferris, a cheap shot on Jackson. Jackson back to the canvas once again. Jackson fires the midsection, scoots between the legs, gets over, makes the tag. And Big Joe Turner starts charging the ring. And Turner caught by Wayne Ferris and Sullivan very quickly. Double teaming here. Caught Turner coming off the ropes. A snapmare has Turner back to the ropes again. Kevin Sullivan full weight down across his chest and abdominal muscles. Big Joe Turner caught again by this Wayne Ferris. Ferris at about 254. Big, and he is rugged and obviously dangerous. Combined with Kevin Sullivan, I don't have to tell you about Kevin Sullivan. He's extremely well known here. Excellent muscular conformation and definition. He's taken several bodybuilding contests and powerlifting contests, I might add. And Turner, brother, they are just flat running amok with Mr. Turner. And it is Ferris again using that right hand very effectively. Snapmare by Kevin Sullivan drives Turner back to the mat, now to an inside armbar by Kevin Sullivan. Again, the tag is made, and Ferris moves in. And it is Turner slashing right hand, then a snapmare. Then the leg down across the biceps and triceps, and Turner's got some problems. Notice the way they are studiously keeping Turner away from his own corner. Turner has not had an opportunity to tag up. He would like to, and of course, Mike Jackson is an absolute fireball. Again, the tag is made. And so Ferris and Sullivan have a good tag team combination going. Tried for a Russian leg sweep. Turner blocked it, and so Sullivan very quickly went to a forward leg trip. And it is Turner down on the canvas. Once again, the tag is made. Wayne Ferris. Off that that second rope, catches Big Joe Turner, and Jackson still looking to tag up. He's on ready to move if he can get the tag with Turner. And Ferris continues to keep absolute and total pressure on. So Turner has his problems. And again, Ferris and Sullivan tag up as they keep Turner trapped in the ring. Sullivan a boot to the midsection. Again, you see Jackson reaching out, trying to make the tag, letting Turner know that he is available. Now again the tag is made, and again Wayne Ferris moves in. And it is Turner with problems. He is unable to get back to his feet, and Wayne Ferris keeps mounting the pressure, now using the single arm bar. Turner again trying to regain his feet now. Ferris, notice the way he keeps him blocked, and makes the tag. Kevin Sullivan moves in, and Sullivan catches Turner. Turner again looking toward his corner. Mike Jackson ready to tag up on a second's notice, but Sullivan and Ferris are keeping Turner well away from his own corner. And again the tag is made. And again it is Ferris in there now. Now he makes the tag, Kevin Sullivan. Cheap shot into the rib cage on the break. Snapmare has Turner down. Turner makes the tag with Mike Jackson. Jackson comes in and explodes. Jackson now moving against Kevin Sullivan. Jackson hooks him into a high back drop. Catches Wayne Ferris outside the ring. Snapmare by Sullivan. And Jackson very quickly tags up with Turner, and Turner moves back into the ring. Quick double team on Turner, and now Ferris using that elbow very effectively down across the chest. Lateral press into the pin. And so the tag team combination of Kevin Sullivan and Wayne Ferris victorious over Big Joe Turner. And we're going to take another look at that. We can see as Ferris moves into the ring. Notice before the count of 4, the quick double teaming as they caught him on either side of the shoulder. Now it is Ferris coming off the rope, high into the air, crashes down with that elbow into the shoulder once again. Turner stunned, and it is Ferris now with the 3 count, and it is all over for that tag team combination, and Wayne Ferris and Kevin Sullivan are victorious. On Sunday, Superstar and the Super Destroyer in action right now as they take on Valentino and Bob Russell, and this should prove to be an outstanding match. It's an Australian tag team event, and there you see them in the ring getting themselves ready for this match. And wait just a second. Big Red is joining me here.
Look there, guard. You know, last week I told you I got proof. Hold these for me. That one with his mask torn, and the other one with the mask not torn. And what did that tell you?
Well, now, wait a minute. Here.
Check it out.
Well, now, wait a second. Hey, wait a minute. I want to take another look at those. That shows us.
Take another look at this. I don't want any false proof. You could touch up these pictures. You could do anything you want to. Haven't you heard of Watergate and all these things? If you had any proof, my good man, you don't have it now. Just get out of here.
Well, baby, you're not that smart, and God, I guarantee you, I'll be back.
Well, what I could tell from that is that there was a mask torn, and it didn't appear to be the same one in the ring winning the match that had the mask torn. I don't know. That's I didn't get a chance to really carefully examine that, but it would have to appear to me that yes, indeed, there was a switch. All right, Super Destroyer catching Valentino. Now this Australian tag team match underway. And Superstar just caught him that time coming off the ropes. There you see the block. And that, of course, that action, the blocking of the opponent now, is used very effectively. Ole Anderson and his partner Gene have done that so many, many times. Valentino having his problems trying to break free. And you can hear the superstar making his comments. Super Destroyer and Superstar of keeping Valentino. And again, their tactics the same as Sullivan and Ferris, keeping their opponents away from their opposite corner so they cannot get Valentino. Tried to get over to tag up, could not. Now it is Super Destroyer catching him in a bear hug, now brings him up a full body slam. And it is Super Destroyer driving a knee to the chest now with a lateral press, and it is Valentino trying to get over to make the tag with Russell, unable to do so. A series of blows to the midsection. Valentino still unable to get over and tag up. Valentino slips through, makes the tag. Bob Russell goes to move into the ring, and Super Destroyer on him very quickly. Russell drives the shoulder to the midsection. Russell makes it into the ring, and the Super Destroyer all over it. And Russell having his problems getting it together, that's for sure. Dropped to the canvas once again. Again, the tag is made, and it is the Superstar moving back out. Russell hurtled out onto that concrete. And as the Super Destroyer planted a boot in his midsection, it was Valentino there to render assistance. Russell with a right hand, but the Super Destroyer was set for it. Moves aside, Super Destroyer slams him into the center of the ring. Full body slam. Double underhook on this one, and the Superstar and the Super Destroyer. And nobody can deny the devastating effect of this tag team combination. Russell caught on a bear hug. Valentino would be well served if he could tag up with Russell, but Russell trapped in his opponent's corner. Off the rope, wow! Caught him, almost ripped his head off. Valentino saved him that time. Russell in trouble again. Brought him up, has him up on that, up on the turnbuckle. The superplex. The superplex executed by the Super Destroyer. And so the Super Destroyer and the Superstar are victorious over Mr. Valentino and Mr. Russell.
Let me ask you a few questions, Gordon. Where does this big goof, this overgrown howdy-doody in that outfit come out here and try to break up some kind of fabrications, try to develop some kind of false pictures proving that I won that gold illegally? Now, come on in here. Come on in here, Dumbo.
Got 1,000 pictures, baby, but I got niggas and proof right here again.
Hey, listen.
You can keep that up. It don't matter with me.
Out of you.
Hey.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Big Red exploding on the Superstar and the Super Destroyer, and Big Red has charged the ring. Big Red in there, and he's beer-sixing it with both of them right now. And we have got to get some kind of order restored, but Big Red handling himself beautifully now. He's against the two men, the Super Destroyer and the Superstar. And Bad Leroy Brown. Bad Leroy Brown from the south side of Chicago just hit the scene. And you talk about bedlam and mayhem. We've got it going now. The Superstar and the Super Destroyer facing Big Red and Bad Leroy Brown. And they are beating a hasty retreat. We'll be back in just a moment. over right now to talk to Ole Anderson. He's co-holder of the World Tag Team Championship. Take your best hold and go from there. Let's turn it over to our ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event, one fall with a 10-minute time limit, one fall 10. Introducing first from Jackson, Tennessee, at 245 pounds, here's Mike Miller. Mike Miller. His opponent from Tampa, Florida, at 230 pounds, Jim Garvin. Jim Garvin.
That's Mike Miller on the screen. Jim Garvin now taking off his jacket. Jim, of course, is originally from Tampa, Florida. He's a member of the famous Garvin wrestling family, and Garvin had an interesting background in athletics. Was an amateur wrestler. Had his, I believe, collarbone broken in the amateur ranks, but has really come a long way in the pro ranks now. Has done extremely well. Has had a lot of injuries over the years, but there's the kind of action that Garvin will show you. Off the ropes, beautiful flying drop kick into a hip lock takedown to an inside arm bar now. Winged it very nicely. Fireman carry takedown. Garvin's amateur background coming to the fore at that point. Full body slam. And Garvin, beautiful double leg pickup on Miller. Beautiful duck under go behind waist cinch and a takedown by Garvin. Miller tries to escape, tries to sit out and escape, gets to the ropes and forces the break in that manner. Garvin had a good tight ride going. Side headlock. Good reversal move around that time. Forward leg trip by Garvin. Break behind the leg partially, then push forward to the full body weight. Had Miller back to the canvas now. Bottom wrist lock and hammer lock on Miller. Miller pulls him back into the ring ropes. Referee calls for the break. Watch him carefully on the break. Miller drives a knee on the break. Drives another one. A third one and trying to take away the oxygen from Jim Garvin. Double knee lift that has Garvin in trouble, and Miller catches him again. Miller drives the knee again. But Miller has been using his legs very effectively. Elbow to the chest, lateral press. Garvin powers out before the count of 3. Forearm now by Miller, and Miller now beginning to rock Garvin with those forearms. Miller is big and extremely powerful. Now Garvin catches him. Miller retaliating, and neither man able to gain much of an advantage as now Garvin charges in. Arm whipped him into the far turnbuckle. Catches him. Drops him to the center of the canvas. Miller coming up a little slowly that time. And it is Garvin now taking him off the ropes once again. Miller a good leapfrog. Garvin caught him. Off the ropes, Garvin uses the elbow very effectively. Garvin hits him with a sleeper hold. Garvin moves in with a sleeper. Caught him coming off the ropes. Slipped behind him, caught the sleeper. And that's it. That's it. Mike Miller into the land of Knoxville. And so Jim Garvin, using that sleeper hold very effectively, slid behind his man. We might get a chance to look at that once again. Garvin's responsibility to reawaken the man. And it is Garvin getting set. Now watch. Jim Garvin, an arm whip, slid right past him, ducked to one side, and put that sleeper on very, very efficiently. Immediately broke him down to where Miller no longer had any control. You can see Miller as darkness starts closing in now. Miller's arms going limp, his body sagging, unconsciousness follows, and so Jim Garvin scoring a fine victory. Seeing him in action later on. Right now we do have a match in the ring. We've got Benfield and Mike Jackson going up against Austin Idol and Terry Gordy. This match, of course, will be one fall with a 10-minute time limit. You can hear the crowd picking up the chant, Baby Huey, Baby Huey. And so Terry Gordy's the first one out, and he's moving against Mike Jackson. Now Gordy will have to watch himself here because Jackson is about as fast a mover as you want to see. Look at the way Jackson very quickly sit out and escape from Terry Gordy after the takedown by Gordy. Gordy again in behind his man. Jackson, beautiful sit out and escape. Into a side headlock by Mike Jackson. Terry Gordy fires him off. Jackson up and over behind his man. Tried rolling reverse now into a beautiful drop kick. And Jackson now has got his problems. The tag is made Austin Idol. We'll see now if Jackson tags up with Rick Benfield. Jackson off that second rope. Catches Austin Idol. Has him down. Cross body block. Jackson again now with a slide headlock on Austin Idol. Jackson makes the tag. Rick Benfield. Rick Benfield moves in. He said, of course, about Jackson. He has his master's degree. He is a teacher in the school system. In addition to that, he's a basketball coach, and in addition to that, an outstanding young pro wrestler. Rick Benfield catching a couple of hard inside of the fist from Austin Idol. Idol, who now makes his home in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we had an earlier winner today on the program in an earlier hour from Las Vegas in the Stanley Works bout of the month. Float over by Gordy, and this is the thing, quarter Nelson now into a full Nelson. And Benfield was able to slip away from that. However, Gordy, trying to get there now, has it back down into a full Nelson on Benfield as he has him on the mat. Benfield trapped as Gordy continues to mount pressure on the back of his neck. Now slips away from that hold. Waist cinch now. Benfield makes it to the ring ropes, and Gordy makes the tag with Austin Idol. Snapmare by Idol has Benfield back to the canvas. Boy, hooks to an inside armbar, but tremendous pressure on the inside of the arm. Wide stance by Idol. And Benfield, Rick Benfield having his problems as Idol keeps that pressure. That is presenting quite a strain to the deltoid muscles. Now it is Terry Gordy, or as the crowd calls, Baby Huey, moving in on flat of the foot, and again, Huey driving Benfield's face into the mat. And that, of course, has to be tremendously humiliating. As Gordy continues to embarrass Benfield, keeping that nose on the mat. Tag is made once again. Benfield in trouble, and it is Idol catching him. Benfield in a lot of trouble here. Needs to get over and tag up. Driven to the canvas. Benfield able to... tag is made, and Mike Jackson moves in, and Jackson explodes on Austin Idol. Mike Jackson giving Austin Idol a comeuppance. And as Jackson started to charge, Austin Idol drove a foot into the abdomen. Austin Idol with a backbreaker on Jackson. Terry Gordy coming off the ropes, as you could see. The referee did not catch that, however. His back was turned as Austin Idol kept him occupied. Terry Gordy now punishing Mike Jackson to the midsection again and again. his troubles now. As Mike Jackson gave him a much-needed respite, but now Gordy tags up Austin Idol, moves into the ring. Austin Idol catches him with an elbow. Austin Idol brings him up a full body slam. Austin Idol moves up on the second ring rope. Barry Gordy catching him with a pile driver, and that's all she wrote. Once he puts that pile driver on you, it is all over. The victors in this match, Terry Gordy and Austin Idol. To the ring. We'll be seeing the Angel going up against Jim Gallagher. One fall, a 10-minute time limit, and it is very quickly the Angel pressing Gallagher into the turnbuckle, catches him, and a good hip toss puts Gallagher back to the canvas. The Angel in behind his man brings him up atomic knee drop. And Gallagher's got to have trouble now as the Angel has moved at him very swiftly and very surely. And very effectively, I might add. Full arm drag and twist. There's that good forward leg trip by the Angel once again. I noticed Jim Garvin using that very effectively in his match earlier on another hour. Takedown again by the Angel. Referee Nick Patrick watching very carefully. Patrick checking with Gallagher, see if he wants to concede. Gallagher, of course, he and his brother Bruce, a couple of double tough individuals. The Gallagher brothers, good tag team combination. And both of these men will mix it up with you in a hurry. But Jim has had a hard time getting moving very effectively against the Angel. The Angel now keeps the pressure on Gallagher. Gallagher on the canvas. The Angel. Wide stance over the body now. Has the arm hooked. Gallagher tried to swing in and catch a leg, and it was the Angel backed out with the opposite leg. That gave him a good, solid foundation, and he couldn't be taken off his feet. Gallagher now jammed into that turnbuckle. Angel jams him in once again. And again, this is a tactic that the Anderson brothers would use, concentrating on the left arm, injuring the shoulder as quickly as possible, making the left arm useless, and then going for the pinfall from there. And so it is Gallagher now, hurtled through the ring. Gallagher coming into the ring. He took some extra time out there. The Angel broke the count. Gallagher now using those forearms. That time he started to charge in, caught with a foot. Caught with a foot again, and so the Angel moving effectively. Now this way he has the one leg blocked. Good move by Gallagher as he finally broke free, and now Gallagher trying to favor that arm, trying to get some rest on that arm, but the Angel right back on him again. Closes in on the left arm, continues to punish that arm. So all of the muscles and ligaments in that arm have to be sore and tender now. Gallagher, 2 hooks into the body. Bottom wrist lock by the Angel as Gallagher now trying to bull the Angel back into the turnbuckle. Does so. Gallagher hurtled from the ring. And Gallagher is now having some real problems trying to get to his feet. The Angel, almost an impassive expression on his face. Count is broken, and this is to Gallagher's advantage. He gets an extra count that way, so the Angel actually cut his own chances somewhat that time. And Gallagher again. Caught by the Angel, and Gallagher just not able to get it together now as the Angel has totally dominated the situation. And the Angel very quickly closes in Gallagher. And now the Angel connects. And a series of blows to Gallagher now once again with that bottom wrist lock, partial hammerlock. The Angel continues to press that advantage now on Jim Gallagher. Now Gallagher will be trying to figure an escape if possible. The Angel, meantime, continues the punishment. And brings Gallagher off, caught him right squarely in the middle of the chest. Lateral press. Gallagher, utilizing the ring rope, forces the break, however. And the Angel. Snapmare. Into a rear chin lock. Keeps the rear chin lock. And so, as Gallagher, the referee caught the Angel that time, forces the break. The Angel that time looked like he was using a thumb to the throat and being warned by the referee. Forearm across the back. Now the Angel drives the shoulder into the midsection. The Angel catches him coming off a high backdrop. Has Gallagher in trouble. And this could very well be the beginning of the end for Gallagher here. If he can slip around behind the Angel and get a quick pinning combination, he still has a chance. But the Angel now steadily wearing him down. As you can tell, it's taking Gallagher longer and longer to get up each time. And that arm, almost helpless now. That left arm, almost helpless. Notice Gallagher was able to point out, had very little strength left in that left arm. And again, you see him without that left, caught with a shoulder breaker on the opposite side. A count of three. A count of three. And a very effective and efficient delivery of a victory by the Angels. I want to take a moment right now to talk to certainly a man who needs no introduction the world over to wrestling fans. I'm referring, of course, to Ray Stevens, a man who does it. Back to the ring ropes once again. Garvin brings him off the ropes. Garvin is standing guillotine. Back into a lateral guillotine. Well executed. Beautiful move by Jim Garvin. From a standing guillotine right into a lateral guillotine. Had the legs hooked in Ole Anderson. Australian tag team event coming up now. Kevin Sullivan and Wayne Ferris moving out against Valentino and Rogers. And it is Valentino with a quick takedown on Ferris. They're circling each other, collar and elbow once again. Duck under, go behind. Waist cinch. Valentino brought an arm inside and got the takedown and makes the tag with Rogers. Back to the canvas once again. Kevin Sullivan moves out there against Vinny Valentino, and it is Valentino getting his head smashed into that turnbuckle. Sullivan back to a side headlock now. Sullivan using a shoulder smash. Sullivan, good block that time. Vinny Valentino breaks that up. Valentino catches him once again. An arm drag takedown into an inside arm bar. Valentino might be trying to tag up with Tommy Rogers here momentarily. Now the tag is made with Wayne Ferris. Ferris again catches him in the midsection. Once again, the tag is made. Wow! Caught Rogers right in the pit of the stomach that time. Right in the old breadbasket. Doubled him up, and now Ferris, using those forearm smashes very effectively, makes a tag. Kevin Sullivan moves in. Sullivan using that right hand very effectively. Has him up, full body slam. Sullivan in complete control, makes the tag with Ferris. Ferris now dropping down, catches Rogers. Off the ropes. And as Ferris tried to set him for a backdrop, Rogers made the good move that time. Drove a knee in there, makes the tag with Vinny Valentino. Valentino caught him. Beautiful flying drop kick. And Sullivan started to move in. Rogers breaks it up. They've got all four of them in the ring at the same time. Referee Nick Patrick trying to restore order. Ferris had Valentino in trouble, and now Kevin Sullivan, a cheap shot, but it is Valentino and Sullivan scoring a victory over Vinny Valentino. And perhaps there we can see. Now, here's the thing. As you can see, the referee sending one man back, turns, sees Sullivan leaving, but did not see the action as it took place, and consequently has no choice but to count those shoulders down. So again, an example of teamwork. On Sunday the 13th,